morning.
Good morning.
My name is Paige St John, and obviously I'm not a priest here, but I've been coming to Christ Church since I was born, and my parents were actually married here 20 years ago. My sister Julia and I have grown up here, and this church and everyone in it have become a second home and a second family. In today's gospel, Jesus tells his disciples, "This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you." And there is nowhere where I have felt that love modeled as strongly as here at Christ Church. And it was that love that inspired me to go on our summer mission trip to Our Little Roses Home for Girls in Honduras. I've never been anywhere as physically beautiful as Honduras. The country is filled with tall trees and bright colors. The silhouette of the mountain defines the skyline. At the beaches in Tela, clear blue water splashes against the hulls of the boats. The reason I love Honduras, however, is not its physical beauty. It's 63 girls living in the center of the city of San Pedro Sula. They live between walls topped with barbed wire and shards of glass in a home patrolled day and night by armed guards. They have been brought together by tragedy. They come from abject poverty and abuse, from families unable to provide them with adequate nutrition, and from neighborhoods where illiteracy is the norm. The first time that I visited Our Little Roses, I had just finished my sophomore year of high school. Since attending a presentation given by a girl who had grown up at the home, I'd talked of doing little else. 2 years later, my parents had finally, nervously, signed the permission forms and agreed to let me go. When the van I was traveling in drove through the heavy steel gates and we heard them clink shut, I knew Our Little Roses would be like nowhere I had ever been. Little voices surrounded us as hands and faces pressed up against the windows. As I stepped out of our van, a girl reached out and grabbed my hand. Hubert, that's her name. She has 3 sisters, Gabriela, Miriam, and Catherine. Although I had originally assumed that she was 5 or 6 years old, I later learned she was 12. Hubert had been malnourished most of her life. However, as a recent arrival to Our Little Roses, she now ate 3 meals a day. She spoke very little English, and I spoke very little Spanish. Sometimes, though, a common language is less important than you would think. Hubert is sarcastic and tough. She is kind and patient. She is brave and a hard worker. She is my friend. At Our Little Roses and at Christ Church, the common language is love. In today's gospel, Jesus asks us to love one another as he loved us, and there has been no place where I felt that love modeled so strongly than through historic Christ Church. My Sunday school teachers who taught us to be kind, Mr. Jason, who taught us patience through his own patience when I didn't pay attention during children's choir rehearsals, which I'm still sorry about. Miss Jen and Chris Hamby, who drove 7 teenage girls to Vermont for the youth mission trip one summer, and who taught us the importance of paying attention to the world around us. My youth leaders, Mary Beth and Anna and Kate and Santi, who showed us what a difference being there can make, and who willingly did crazy things for us, like agreeing to chaperone the youth group lock-in and spend 12 hours locked in the Fowler house with 15 7th graders. Heather, who has shown me what unconditional support looks like and who always reaches out to involve me. Mr. Sam, who is our acolyte leader and who taught me how to hold the cross high and who has always been a source of support. And my wonderful, wonderful group of friends here, who have taught me what strength looks like and have always been there to give me strength when I need it. For 18 years, this building and everyone in it have been my home and my family. You have showed me what it looks like to be a friend and to truly love others and to treat them well. Over time, the love of this community has shaped me and my peers and made us people more ready to enter the world and to treat others with kindness. As Anna Broadbent would say, to pay it forward. Over time, I also saw love shape the lives of the girls at Our Little Roses. When I returned last summer, I almost didn't recognize Hubert. She was 13, and she looked 13. A year at Our Little Roses was a year of regular meals, a year of education, and a year of love. We had our first real conversation without a translator the morning of my arrival. We talked about school, music, and friends. It was just like any other conversation between teenagers, and it was one of the happiest moments of my life. Next fall, I will be attending the University of Virginia to major in global public health. I decided that I want to help kids like Hubert reach their potential in the way that you all have helped me. So like the disciples did with the lesson Jesus taught them, to love each other as he loved them, I will carry the lesson of what love and friendship look like and do my best to show everyone the acceptance and care I have received here.